Joining us on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is the new head coach of Nebraska football. Last time we spoke with him was, I believe, before the draft when the Carolina Panthers were maybe taking a quarterback or maybe didn't. Or no, it was after the draft that they did not take one. But now it's a totally different world for Matt Rhule, back in college football, now the head coach of Nebraska football here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Are you in the state of Nebraska already? Are you there?
Oh yeah. I'm sitting at my desk.
Your desk?
Talking to you and looking at recruiting lists.
Okay, so you already got your office set up. You have a home. You got this whole thing. So your real estate all done. You're doing that?
You know what? My wife went out to look for a house today, so knowing her is probably pretty close to done.
Oh.
I'm in the hotel and I'm just hanging out in the facility.
Okay, man. Football coaching world is kind of crazy. How many times have you moved your family, Matt? How many times is this for you now? What do you got for me?
That's a great question. Probably. I mean, this is my fourth head coaching job in 11 years. I mean, this is but I probably moved my son. I probably moved my son like 10 times, 12 times.
My gosh.
He's 8. Yeah.
Man, and it is just never easy to do such a thing, and I totally get it. But what attracted you to Nebraska? Walk me through that one, Matt.
You know, I think as we started this process, I had 4 years left on my contract. There was no urgency to take a bad job. I didn't know much about Nebraska other than its great tradition and 5 national championships. But I was willing to listen to everybody. And as I got to know Trev Alberts, the athletic director, as I got to learn more about not just the program but their vision for the future, I said, man, this sounds just like me. They want to be a tough physical team. They want to be a team that doesn't just live off of transfers all the time. They want to get guys at 18 years old, help them graduate, help them grow into NFL players, be a player development place. And so I felt the fit. My wife and I kind of snuck out here, flew out here, looked around Lincoln. We didn't realize how big it was. We didn't realize how nice it was. And in the end, we decided that this is where we wanted to take our next chapter, raise our family, and live next.
Did you end up talking to Tom Osborne at any point in time? Did you have to?
Yes, sir. Before I took the job, I called him and said, "Hey, I'm not going to take this job if I don't have your blessing." I needed to make sure that he was okay with me being the coach, and he was great to me. He said, Matt, I'll never get in the way, but I'll always be there to support you in anything you need or give you any help that you need. And so, he's one of the great coaches, the guys that I looked up to at a young age, and so it was pretty surreal to talk to him.
So you asked, technically, the way you just described it, Matt Rhule, you asked Tom Osborne for Nebraska's hand in coaching marriage? Is that literally what happened?
Just like I did with Don Nybert way back when, just married Julie. I just think that man did so much for this university. I owed it to him. He laughed at me and said, "You don't need my permission." I said, "Well, maybe I don't need it, but I sure like it. I sure like your blessing." So he was great to me.
And who else from the Nebraska world did you speak to?
I talked again. Trev Alberts, great player here. He's the athletic director. I was lucky in that the president of the university system, Admiral Ted Carter, I had a chance to talk to the Admiral. He was at Navy when I was at Temple and we played and when we won the championship game. And so he had a vision for what my teams looked like, at Temple, for the physicality and the play style. And that's what he wanted. And I think that's really important, Rich. Lots of times people hire a coach, for what they think it's going to be. He knew what it was going to be. He knew the way that we did things, and he thought that was a fit, and that meant a lot to me.
And any former players that you've spoken to? Anybody reach out?
I was quiet at first, because I was obviously trying to respect the process. But after getting the job, one of my favorite players that I had in Carolina, Amir Abdullah, he and I had a chance to speak. I had a chance to speak to Dominican Sue. Got a text right away from Mike Rucker, Eric Stokes, and then I've had a chance to talk to many more after coming out here. But it was really cool to talk to Amir. He's one of the special players in the National Football League. And he kind of knows me. He knows how I do things. And when he called me, he said, "Hey, coach, this is going to be a great fit. You're the guy that I want at my university," and that meant a lot to me.
Has Will Compton? You've spoken to the boy? Have you spoken to Will at all? You've spoken to him?
Yeah, absolutely. I told him I wanted to be on the bus at some point. So I mean, I need that experience, man. As you go through this process, normally, you're at one job and someone calls you and it's like bang bang. But since I was out of work, I had a lot of time to look at all these jobs, and I watched episodes of Bussin' with the Boys.
Okay.
I watched all kinds of stuff. Getting ready to figure out if this was the right fit.
Well, I mean, there are a few people that he would actually bring the bus to, Matt. I think the head coach of Nebraska football is somebody he would actually bring the bus to. You don't have to go schlep to Nashville or anything like that he's asking me to do. So, okay, good. I'm glad that everything is all buttoned up for you to arrive in Nebraska. Matt Rhule here on the Rich Eisen Show. Just turning the page back for a bit to the world of the National Football League, Matt Rhule. Just a macro question. What do you think did not work out in Carolina that you thought was going to work out? What was it?
Yeah, I just think and I understand why. I just think that I was hired to do a 4-year kind of a plan. And so I'm a guy that historically in the third year has won. We kind of knew going in, and as I talked to the people there, hey, it might take a little longer just because of kind of where we were, kind of the end of an era and some great players retiring and moving on. And, to me, if you tell me, hey, I need you to do it in 2 years, then I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to sign some more free agents. We're going to do some different things. If you ask me to do it in 4 years, and then we're going to build through the draft. And I really like the team. I think, when they've played well on offense and scored points, they've won like they did this past week. It's great to see Sam Darnold go out there and play well. But I think you look at the future of that team. I think it's Derek Brown, Brian Burns, DJ Moore, J.C. Horn. We were building it to, no huge free agent signings, no blockbuster trades to try to get to next year and, try to hopefully win this year, get to next year, and maybe make a big move or two and be a power team in the league. And so I think Scott Fitterer, the GM's done a great job. I mean, they're still in contention in the NFC South. They're 3-1 in the NFC South, and that was my job to try to help build a team that could win the NFC South. The mistake I made, Rich, is we just didn't win enough. You have to win enough in years 2 and 3 to be able to stay. I would have loved to stick around longer. I was 1-4, kind of like Ron Rivera was, and I would have loved to stick around longer. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm in a really good place, and I'm grateful to Carolina.
Do you think if you could wave a wand, have a mulligan, would you have drafted a quarterback instead? In your chance?
Yeah, no, because there was really no one that I shouldn't say that. Justin Fields is playing really well, and Mac Jones is someone that I have a lot of respect for. But sometimes articles come out after you get fired and say, "Oh, hey, why didn't you guys get Justin Herbert?" Well, because he got drafted in front of us, and I wasn't the GM. I didn't make the picks. I had a lot of input. I worked with 2 great guys in Marty Hurney and Scott Fitterer. But I think when you look at the 3 first-round draft picks that we had, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, and Ike Ekwonu. I think they're all future Pro Bowlers. So, there's some really good quarterbacks that went before us. Would have loved to have one of those guys, but they weren't there. And Mac is a really good player for New England. Justin's running wild right now. So you can maybe look back at those. But I love the guys that we drafted. And I just think in time they're going to be great NFL players.
Now that you've been through the NFL as a head coach, Matt Rhule, and you're back in college where you had obviously the successful years at Temple and then Baylor as well, there's just a nonstop conversation that's been going on for quite some time about the difference at coaching on the 2 levels. What is your opinion of it now about the difference of coaching on the 2 levels?
Yeah, there's less. I don't think there's a big difference in the coaching. I think there's far more moving pieces in the NFL. In college here, kind of I set the vision. Everyone goes and executes it. I have a hand in the recruiting. I have a hand in kind of, hey, the operation. Here's how we're going to do things. Really in the National Football League, there's lots of really great people that all have their role. You have a GM who's got to put together the roster. You have an owner, and every owner is different, who has to approve things. You have a coach who's got to handle things on the field. And so the actual coaching, players are players, especially nowadays. You get kids in college, man, they're really savvy. Players love being coached by guys who know what they're doing. I just think it's all the other pieces of it. It's all the people, the moving parts in the NFL that have to come together for you to have success.
So, Matt Rhule, as I send you off onto the rest of your day to find out what house your wife has picked out and so much more, I've enjoyed talking with you and your years being a coach of the Carolina Panthers, and I'm very pleased to see that you wound up in a spot that pleases you. But you do know that on occasional Saturdays we're going to have to go our separate ways in the Big Ten, right? You do realize that, correct?
I understand, and you're very. I'm sure you're very happy right now. So.
Oh gosh, happy does not actually do it justice. What I am, I'm like, you're peeling me off the ceiling right now. Is really what you're doing. And there's now a trophy, I guess, that Compton and Taylor Lewan have created between our two schools, the Bussin' with the Boys trophy that currently does reside in Ann Arbor, and I wish you good luck in getting it out of Ann Arbor, sir.
We will do all we can.
Okay.
All that we can.
Excellent. And then, by the way, when you speak to Tom Osborne next time, ask him for half of the '97 national championship back for Michigan. We'd like to make that whole as well. If you don't mind me doing that.
I'll try to find a way to work that in.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. That should be his top priority, right, Chris? My buddy Chris right here? Okay.
I mean, he's got other stuff going on.
Take care of yourself, Matt Rhule. You be well, man. It's been a great congrats on the gig. We'll chat again soon, hopefully. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.